You got to give him credit. How many young guys, he was like 26 or 25 when his father died, take over these tough generals, and all of a sudden, you know, it's pretty amazing when you think of it. How does he do that? Even though it is a culture and it's a cultural thing, he goes in, he takes over, and he's the boss. It's incredible. He wiped out the uncle. He wiped out this one, that one.
So just to refresh our viewers' memory, Kim executed his uncle, he executed his aunt, he executed his military chief, he executed his vice premier. What was Mr. Trump trying to say, Healy?
Well, I think top line, you know, Mr. Trump's point is that he wants to keep an open dialogue and repair relationships with world leaders.
But what was he trying to say in January at his campaign rally?
Well, I'm not going to speculate what he meant specifically by those points, but generally speaking, you know, he wants to have an open dialogue to repair relationships with leaders throughout the world.
I know, but
Carol, I think I can answer that question.
Okay.
I think Donald Trump was trying to project strength. He has said similarly, you know, he's complimented Vladimir Putin in similar terms. I could answer Donald Trump's question, which is how does a guy that young get to be leader of a closed country called the Hermit Kingdom? It's called dynasty, and it's called tyranny, and it's called murdering your opponents. That's the simple answer. But I think that what Donald Trump was trying to do was sort of sound like a strong man himself. I don't like it. I hope that he refines his point of view.
Yeah, and I'm just, well, Healy, you can't give us any more guidance on this. You are the senior press representative for Mr. Trump.
I am, exactly. And what I'm telling you is that top line, you know, one of his biggest goals is to repair relationships with leaders throughout the world.
Okay, then. Amy,
yes.
The Clinton camp fired back that Donald Trump is willing to sit down with Kim Jong-un, but he's not really willing to talk very much to David Cameron from Great Britain. Is that fair?
Right. No, it's not, obviously, because Hillary Clinton, as we were discussing earlier, went on to support then Senator Obama in his election efforts to become President of the United States when Senator Obama had made similar pledges of no preconditions, willing to sit down, and even his foreign policy advisor said that any great nation and a great president should be willing to open up these avenues of dialogue. In terms of criticizing Donald Trump about David Cameron, again, I think that's unfair. When we saw that President Obama just went to the UK, lectured the Brits on Brexit, and said he insulted the Brits by saying, if you don't stay in the EU, I'm going to put you to the back of the queue. Well, interestingly enough, polling data when it came to UK sentiments on leaving the EU, support for leaving went up after President Obama's threat.
So Healy, I want to ask you about something else. Donald Trump is expected to meet with former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger. He's expected to do that later today. Why Henry Kissinger and not another Secretary of State? Healy?
I'm sorry, was that question to me? Oh, yes. Sorry about that. I had a little feedback.
No worries.
You know, Mr. Trump regularly meets with experts and highly respected individuals, and, you know, he values their input and their feedback.
And what do you suppose they'll talk about in this meeting? Do you know, Healy?
You know, I can't confirm or deny the meeting. I do know that Mr. Trump, you know, values feedback of highly respected individuals and experts, and, you know, he will have those conversations as he deems fit.
How do you feel, Amy, about this meeting with Henry Kissinger?
Hey, listen, the more that Donald Trump can learn about the world and foreign policy, I think is better. And Mr. Kissinger is, you know, very well respected among many foreign policy experts, although, you know, people have their criticisms of him as well, as being a realist when it comes to foreign policy. So, again, if it's a little bit educational for the Republican presumptive nominee, I'm for it.
All right, Amy Holmes, Healy Baumgardner, thanks to both of you.